Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it's 100% online. With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 25,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. To get started, you just answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. That way, BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. Then you can talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's via text, chat, phone, or video call. You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions when it's convenient for you. If your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. With BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom-picked for you, more scheduling flexibility, and at a more affordable price. Get 10% off your first month at BetterHelp.com/thebarn. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/thebarn.
Hello, my name is Jason Lowry.
And I am the brother of Tom Toti, Mark Toti.
And this is the Parkland Podcast.
It's the Parkland Podcast with Jason and Mark. It's the Parkland Podcast with Jason and Mark. They got plenty to say. They got plenty of heart. On the Parkland Podcast with Jason and Mark. It's the Parkland Podcast. Yeah, the Parkland Podcast. It's the Parkland Podcast. Yeah, the Parkland Podcast with Jason and Mark. Jason and Mark.
See, this is what the kids do now, Mark. Instead of lighters at concerts, they get their phones out and they do this now. See, yeah, and you move them around, and yeah. Any weird concert or anything that you ever did at concerts back in the day that they don't do now? Because I know the lighters were always a cool thing to do.
This will be my totally awesome story.
Okay, so we're going to jump ahead.
Yes, but it's not got anything to do with radio.
Okay.
Because it was before I was in radio, back in the 1970s. By the way, I got to give a shout out to my brother Mike and my brother Dave. I always talk about Tom.
Yeah.
Don't want to leave those guys out. Anyway, I went to see Yes and Donovan in concert back in 1977 or so. Great show. Great show. Sitting right smack dab in front of me, closer to me than you are right now, Ted Simmons, St. Louis Baseball Cardinals.
Yes.
And there was a pitcher for the Cardinals at the time named Eric Rasmussen. And anyway, Ted Simmons had a broken foot at the time, and he had a cast on his foot. And they started playing Roundabout from Yes, and everybody was up on their seats just jamming away. There was Ted Simmons pounding his foot with the cast on it to the beat of the music, just rocking out, right? But anyway, the real funny part of that was in between Donovan and Yes, Keith Hernandez. Keith Hernandez, the spitter, if you watch Seinfeld. Anyway, Keith Hernandez comes walking up. He's wearing really dark sunglasses. And he comes up to Simmons and takes off his sunglasses and goes, "Hey, Teddy, look at my eyes, man." Simmons goes, "Put the sunglasses back on." And then Hernandez kind of meandered away from there. I'm not going to say what he was up to or anything. You can draw your own conclusions from there. But that is my favorite ever. I still tell that story 45 years later.
And you've told it twice now on the Parkland Podcast.
Have I told that one already?
Yes.
Well, that's what happens when you
so
get
good.
6 months into the story. But that's okay. It was well worth it, and I just knocked something out there.
No, that's okay. This is not important. But what is important are our sponsors for episode number 23, and those include Parkland Pharmacy, Discover Farmington, Save-A-Lot of the Parkland, Heimberger Construction, Subway of the Parkland, Earth Mother Health Foods, Booze and Bark Carpet, and Southeast Missouri Mental Health Center. Coming up on the show today, we're going to talk to Jerry Weems of the St. Francis County Rotary Club. We're going to sing songs, and he's going to spin around in a circle for us. And then Don Sanders with the St. Francis County Community Partnership will be our guest. And Mary Lee Visnovski has another story about being in a one-room schoolhouse for us. Another Earth Mother Health Food story at the end of the show.
Got to send a couple of shout-outs before we go too much further. Julie Berghaus, Parkland Pharmacy, thank you for the wonderful flu shot that you gave me this past week.
Wow, thanks for getting poked.
Yeah, well, she gave me the TLC of flu shots there. But anyway, I also want to send a shout out to Miranda and Carrie and Laura and Debbie and Judy and all the other girls at the pharmacy in Farmington that I go to. They are so nice. Also want to send a shout out to Linda Dickerson Bell. I saw her this past Friday. Final number still coming in for their housewarming for Habitat, but they think they raised a little over $15,000. A big thank you to everybody who took part in the Dine Out program. A bunch of us got together at El Tapatio in Deloge this past Thursday and had a great meal. Alonzo, you are the man for supporting the United Way of St. Francis County. A huge shout out to Farmington Family Dental.
Yes.
I needed some crown work done and a filling taken care of. Because I was a military veteran, or am a military veteran, they did the work for free. They did a free day of service for all military veterans this past Friday, which I think is tremendously awesome. So a big thank you to Dr. Perry and the wonderful ladies at Farmington Family Dental. And Julie Powers and your group, thanks for letting me be a part of your big fundraiser for the Help the Hungry bake sale coming up. Got to me. She calls them protein balls.
Yes. Oh, I've had those. They're great.
Yes, but it is kind of weird to say those are the best balls I've ever had.
Yeah. But they are.
But they are really, really good. So that was a lot of fun too. So I had a busy, fun week this past week.
I got my first Thanksgiving meal this past week because I'm a connoisseur of Thanksgiving meals. I love to eat. That's my favorite
Green bean
style of
casserole,
cooking.
baby.
Ooh. So there's a program at Farmington High School called the Super Nights. And the Super Nights do a lot of great stuff. They work on a lot of food service skills. They run the coffee shop at the high school. And every year they put together a full-on Thanksgiving meal for all the teachers at Farmington High School.
Nice.
And they did a tremendous job.
Going to send a shout out, since we're talking about Farmington High School, to the FFA kids. They came over a while back and dropped off a whole ton of food to the Farmington Food Pantry there off of Karsh Boulevard, the old Family Dental, including some mac and cheese, big packages of mac and cheese. They've been quite popular. So thanks to the FFA. I love the kids in the FFA. They are some of the best kids. They're all good kids, but they are some of the best kids around.
Absolutely. Also tried chocolate-covered bacon.
That stuff's the bomb, man.
I know. Wow. Casey Richardson, Casey's Cooking, stopped by their food truck this past weekend and got some of that. He goes, here, try this and talk about it on your podcast.
Casey, whoa, Casey. This is a two-man show here. Okay.
Well, he did give me another piece, but it got consumed.
Casey, I've eaten Casey's food from his food truck before. It is fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Fired's great too. I don't know if I've had a bad food truck in the area. I like every time I've been to one, I've had a good experience.
Yes, sir. That's why for Christmas, Jason and I are both going to get shirts that says "We beat anorexia."
You can tell by how we look. Totally awesome radio story, or did that count as the totally
That counted
awesome?
as that.
Okay.
And
Well,
a shout out in honor of Veterans Day.
Yes.
To my fellow Navy brethren. Respect.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you to all veterans for their service. My brother Tom was a Marine. My dad served in the Air Force and the Navy, I believe. Or was it the Army? He served in two branches of the military. So anyway, shout out to all veterans for all you do. We don't want to leave you out.
I believe everybody in my family was Army. And I know that it was a rarity. All three of the Rediker boys all went to serve in World War II. My grandpa was the youngest. He actually went over as part of the peacekeeping efforts after. But all three of the Rediker boys from the farm in Jefferson County went, and all three of them came back. So
Nice.
Very fortunate. And then I know my wife's family, a lot of her great-grandparents, I believe, were part of what was happening in the, I guess, the front in Asia, and were part of the Korean War. And boy, they saw some things, but they all came back too. So thanks to everybody, and especially, offering our condolences to those that don't come back, because that happens and will happen again at some point. But big thank you to all of everyone who's ever served any branch, and enjoy your day as this podcast actually drops on Veterans Day.
By the way, shout out to Earth Mother Health Foods. I'm drinking tea this morning. It is a spearmint peppermint blend suggested to me by the wonderful folks at Earth Mother Health Foods. It is fantastic. I squeezed a little lemon in this morning.
Yes,
before
always
I
better
left.
when you squeeze a little lemon.
Yes, good stuff. Earth Mother, love them.
Coming up next, we'll check news. We got events coming up. Get you ready for Christmas. Boy, the sports scene is crazy right now. We have another state champion in our area. We'll talk about all that and more as the Parkland podcast rolls on right here. Yummy, yummy Save-A-Lots of the Parkland, Bonne Terre, DeSoto, Potosi, Park Hills, and Farmington. Butchers at every store. They got the 5 for $24.99 deal. And there's always something new and interesting to try. I know my brother-in-law kind of created a Emo's Pizza dip, and he got all the ingredients from our local Save-A-Lot store.
I'll tell you what, and we're getting very close to Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
If you
I
want to
love
get your Thanksgiving turkey,
Yes.
you definitely want to check out Save-A-Lot. And then for your Christmas hams, I know that Clint will be more than happy to give you the hookup there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They do the best. I know my dad has already secured the Thanksgiving ham. He's kind of weird. But that'll be coming up. And yes, Save-A-Lot is your place to go for your holiday feast.
Nice, clean stores, wonderful people, great place to shop and save. How about that?
Ooh, save a lot of the Parkland. Heimberger Construction has the beautiful website, heimbergerconstruction.com. There you can see the beautiful work they've done around the Parkland, or just kind of look around when you're driving around. And Mark, that's all because of the great support they get from Butler Buildings.
Yeah, Butler Buildings, they are the best metal building system on the market. The only buildings that have a pre-punched roof system and standard 360-degree roof seam for their standing seam roof. And you've got Jennifer Heimberger when you deal with Heimberger Construction. She is one of the most on-the-ball people I have ever met. And she really wants to do the job, and she wants to do it well. She wants to do it right, and she wants to give you the best bang for your buck. So if you're adding on, if you're expanding, if you're relocating, and you need a new building, I totally recommend Heimberger Construction.
HeimbergerConstruction.com, your home of Butler Buildings in the Parkland and in this region. They've done work locally. They've done work nationally. Check them all out. HeimbergerConstruction.com. News time on the Parkland podcast. A very busy week of news. It began this past Monday, where high waters took over the Parkland. This is the start of the week as we had record rainfall hit the area. Here's some of the videos sent to the Parkland podcast. This one courtesy of Linda Dickerson Bell. And several other pictures were sent to our Facebook page as well, as we share those for you watching on YouTube. The dam was breached at Iron Mountain Lake, and that caused evacuations and the moving of polling places on Election Day Tuesday.
And also a special shout out to St. Francis County Commissioner David Cater and the United Way of St. Francis County as they spearheaded efforts to bring in some food to rescue workers working in the Iron Mountain Lake area that day. Some areas reporting as much as 10 plus inches of rain. Elections, 66% voter turnout. In St. Francis County, a clean sweep for Republican candidates. Mike Henderson won the state Senate position. Becky Laubinger, state representative in the 116th District. Dale Wright, the 117th District. And Carrie Buckley for the St. Francis County Commissioner for a second term.
Both Carrie Buckley and Dale Wright reelected. Mike Henderson elected to a new position with that Senate seat, and his old Senate seat going to Becky Laubinger. And again, great turnout for the ballot. Now, testing by the Missouri Department of Natural Resources has determined the city of Fredericktown and Madison County Public Water Service District No. 1's public drinking water systems show no contamination related to the fire last week at the Critical Minerals Recovery Plant, the lithium battery recycling company located in the city. The Missouri Department of Natural Resources has analyzed samples taken from the city and the Public Water Works, analyzed those samples for various chemicals considered to be drinking water contaminants. The metal portion of the test found nothing at unsafe levels, and either system's drinking water. DNR continues to analyze for remaining contaminants, though it could take several days before the testing is complete. And that's your latest news right here on the Parkland Podcast. Parkland Pharmacy, local pharmacy at its finest with 6 locations to serve in Deloge, Farmington, Fredericktown, Ironton, Piedmont, and Greenville. And they are sticking people to help make sure that they make it through the cold and flu season.
That's right. They're offering flu shots. You can also get your COVID booster shots while you're there. And for those of you of a certain age, like yours truly, if you need to meet with somebody for your Medicare Advantage plans, they've got the folks there that can definitely help you out. They are all about the customer service.
I know I was there the day before Halloween, and man, they were so busy that day. But always on top of things, always smiling, always giving you that great customer service. That's what they're all about at Parkland Pharmacy. Again, in Deloge, Farmington, Fredericktown, Ironton, Piedmont, and Greenville, local pharmacy at its finest. Subway of the Parkland, Subway in Farmington in the Maple Valley Center, Subway in downtown Park Hills, and Subway inside the Deloge Walmart Supercenter, all advertising for us here. We love the food. We love the sandwiches. And I know that you love the service.
I love the people
Yeah.
at Subway. Heather, Jessica, Brianna, how are you ladies? Every time I go in there, I feel like I'm the most important guy in the world because they smile. Well, they make me feel that way. So Mike and Jake, congratulations on those 3 gals there. And thank you for bringing back the soups. I love the broccoli cheddar soup they have there. They have great potato soup. I keep wanting to try one of their pizzas because they're so good, but I'm stuck on the soup and the sandwiches and all the other things. But one of these days, I'm going to get in there and actually try a pizza because the gals, they brag about the pizzas all the time. They say they're really good.
And Subway's great for helping out in the community.
Yep.
I know they brought in some sandwiches and cookies and chips for BKTV crew, one of our football nights this year, and are just great to the community.
Their chocolate chip cookies are mouth-wateringly good. They are fantastic.
So check them out. You can also get those gift cards for some really cool Christmas gifts. Subway of the Parkland.
Eat fresh.
Let's do the events page now. That's presented by Discover Farmington. More than you ever imagined. DiscoverFarmingtonMo.com allows you to find out more about entertainment, dining, outdoor activities, wineries, and more. DiscoverFarmingtonMo.com, the website.
Farmington, Missouri, your destination for a perfect weekend getaway. Dine in at one of our quality restaurants or visit one of our surrounding wineries. Farmington offers a variety of parks and other recreational leisure time activities. See some sights, have some fun, and go wherever your heart takes you. Sounds like a lot of fun, so get a room and stay a while. All this and more awaits you just 60 miles south of St. Louis. Discover Farmington today.
Mom's Cafe will serve up a free meal Wednesday at the Methodist Church in Farmington.
Don't forget about Mrs. Roper's Romp Boutique Crawl happening in Farmington on November the 16th.
We're just days away from the Help the Hungry bake sale and auction. It's November 23rd, starting at 9 o'clock at the always accommodating St. Joseph Catholic School gym in Farmington.
Don't forget about the raffle going on for the St. Francis County Community Partnership. They're raffling off a Blackstone griddle, and you can get your tickets from the St. Francis County Community Partnership. Email Dawn at sfccp.org.
You can also contact Dawn if you would like to make a donation to their Season of Hope. The Turkey Trot and 1 Mile Gobble Wobble is Thanksgiving Day at the Farmington Public Library.
Angels Among Us, a benefit softball tournament scheduled for Saturday, November the 30th at the Park Hill Sports Complex. $300 per team. Proceeds benefiting needy families at Christmas time. Call Missy Bernia for more info at 631-9111.
Farmington Downtown Carriage Rides take place every Saturday through Christmas starting November 30th from 12 to 4.
Here comes the cat.
This is a different cat.
And you can come celebrate the start of the holiday season in historic downtown Farmington, as they will have a big event happening on November the 30th. That includes a Christmas Carol sing-along, a Santa beard contest, best decorated holiday beard, best fake festive beard, and the Christmas tree lighting happening. You can also enjoy free cocoa and a variety of Christmas photo ops, including Santa's sleigh. And that is presented by Discover Farmington again on Saturday, November 30th.
And real quick, the upcoming Christmas parades that we know about right now: Bonterre Christmas Parade, December 2nd.
Hefner Furniture Christmas Parade, Park Hills Leadington Chamber of Commerce. That is Thursday, December 5th.
Kreckler Jewelers Farmington Christmas Parade, Friday the 6th.
And Christmas in the Park on Saturday, December the 7th. That is your events page, and that is presented by our friends at Discover Farmington. More than you ever imagined. Find out about local events, even book a wedding or a day trip today at discoverfarmingtonmo.com.
Happy birthday week, Kristen White.
Southeast Missouri Mental Health Services. They've been providing the mental health services to our area since 1903. And they are currently looking for an advanced practice nurse to fill a position at the East Southeast region, which is our area. And Mark, the benefits, the amenities, I guess, if you will, of this job look pretty good.
Great salary, about $130,000. This opening shouldn't last too much longer, so you definitely want to give Rick Capias and the folks at the Mental Health Center a call. A lot of people don't realize what a big employer they are. One of the biggest, if not the biggest in the area, with over 1,000 employees. You probably know somebody that works for Southeast Missouri Mental Health Center, and they'll tell you it's a great place to work.
So you can apply for this job and several others they have open right now by calling 573-218-6800 or go to dmh.mo.gov. That's dmh.mo.gov. The state of Missouri is an equal opportunity employer and celebrate diversity and are committed to creating an inclusive environment for all employees. Want to talk about Boozenbark Flooring and Granite. They have been family-owned and operated since 1941. As long as I can remember, Boozenbark Carpet has been in our area. And, Mark, if you were to survey, I guess, all the homes in St. Francis County, I would say a majority of them have something in them from Booze and Barks.
Let's send a shout out to Gary and to Todd and Chad and all the folks at Booze and Bark for being a part of the podcast. Boy, if you like selection, if you like options, if you're not sure what you want in terms of flooring, whether it be hardwood or carpeting or vinyl, these are the folks to see. And where are you located at? It doesn't matter. If you can see this podcast, you're pretty much in Booze and Bark country.
And if you live outside of Booze and Bark carpet or Booze and Bark country, you can go to boozeandbarkflooring.com and it can be shipped to you no matter where you are. That's how good they do. Boozeandbarkflooring.com has a great deal right now. You can save up to 50% off the top colors of in-stock Core Tech flooring. Of course, Booze and Bark does countertops, trailers, and so much more.
Yeah, there's a lot to choose from, like we said, at Booze and Bark, and they're very involved in the community as well. Great to be partnering up with you on the podcast.
There's a reason why Booze and Bark has so many employees of over 10, 20, 30 years. They have that spacious showroom on Highway 67 at the Fairgrounds exit. And, of course, they take great care of their customers. 431-4100, Booze and Bark, Flooring and Granite, proud sponsor of the Parkland podcast. Let's check birthdays and anniversaries for this week. We begin with Monday, November 11th. Mark Toti, who's celebrating?
Lots of folks celebrating. One of our fellow radio brethren, Brad Dawkins.
Oh, wow.
Celebrates a birthday
Mr.
today.
Dawkins.
Mr. Dawkins' son. Happy birthday to you, buddy. Hope you are doing well. Happy birthday to Sarah Aubrey. Got to know her through Dress to Impress and some of the fundraisers that they are involved in. Sarah, I hope you are doing fantastic. Ron Brooks, one of your fellow Catholic brethren, celebrates a birthday. That's from your wife and all of your family. One of my fellow Lutheran sisters, Jill Cahoot, celebrating a birthday today. Jill, happy birthday to you from your husband, your kids, and all of your family. Ed Felker, area real estate agent extraordinaire, with a birthday on Monday. Heather Knox, Heather Danielle, celebrating a birthday today. I've known her since she was a little squirt. And a happy belated birthday to my great niece, Reagan Garlock. She celebrated a birthday last week. Don't want to leave you off the list. She's too young to be on. I think she's 9 now.
Yeah, probably doesn't have Facebook yet.
Yeah, and a happy birthday to you from your mom and dad and all of your family, your grandma and grandpa. It was just a great little kid.
I got my old buddy Dwayne Cross with a birthday on Monday. Happy birthday, Dwayno. Hope it's a great day for you. He likes to put his name in songs with the word rain. Like instead of blame it on the rain, it'd be like blame it on Dwayne. Yeah.
I remember his corny jokes. He was the Mike Ramsey of his time.
What a compliment.
Did an interview with Mike Ramsey, by the way.
Yeah?
Shout out to Mike for
Rammer.
United Way. Went over to KFMO and did an interview with him.
Wow. Very cool. Scott Haggerty, my insurance agent. I guess I had it wrong when I wished you a happy birthday about a month ago. Or maybe you have 2 birthdays. Either way.
You're
good
just
for
that
you.
old.
Yeah, it makes sense now. Stephanie Wigger with a birthday on Monday. Happy birthday, Stephanie. And Brian Kelly, country music star and IT person over at North County School District. Brian, happy birthday to you. What about Tuesday, November 12th?
Tuesday, just one birthday, but she's a sweetheart. Danielle Greenlee. Her maiden name was Goldsmith, Danielle Goldsmith.
Oh, okay,
A lot
yeah.
of talent in her family.
Yeah.
She was a cheerleader for the St. Louis Rams
That's
for a
correct.
couple of years, and she's just one of the nicest gals. She'd come into the station, and we do interviews about a couple of different things, and I enjoyed it just because I got to share space with Danielle because she was just that nice a gal. Happy birthday to you, Danielle. Hope you're doing great.
I got Andrew Rieger, school resource officer in the Central School District. Happy birthday to you, sir. And Melissa Pipkin, one of the finest people to ever work in education. I believe she's in the West County School District now. Worked a long time in the North County School District as well. Happy birthday, Melissa. I think she might have been like the first birthday party I went to, too, like way back when. So
Nice.
happy birthday. What about Wednesday, November 13th?
Wednesday, got to start off by wishing my niece, Amy Toti, happy birthday. She is a school teacher in the St. Louis area, and she is also my goddaughter. So, Amy, we talk just about every week because she likes The Walking Dead. I like The Walking Dead and all the spinoffs, and we compare notes about that. And we also like Yellowstone a lot, and looking forward to Yellowstone now that it's underway once again.
Yeah, should I bump the podcast time like post back so I don't interfere with Yellowstone? Because I think that's where all the eyes are going to be going Sunday night.
Well, I'm going to be recording it and playing it back, so it doesn't matter to me because I sleep.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Amy. Love you. Hope you're doing great. Happy birthday wishes to Aaron Ward. Aaron Ward is a heck of a good guy. I used to play volleyball with his mom and dad back in the day, but he is best known for being the husband of Julie Ward.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yes. He says it's his birthday every day because he's married to Julie.
Sure is.
Happy birthday to
Happy
you
birthday.
from your wife and the kids. Hope you guys are doing fantastic.
Yeah.
Happy birthday wishes going out to Courtney Sykes. She graduated from Farmington High School, I believe, and now she's married, I think, to Joby Sykes.
Okay. The
from
athletic director at
Fredericktown
Fredericktown.
Schools.
Yeah.
Yeah, so happy birthday to you, Courtney. Hope you're doing great. Carrie Ann Roman, she worked at Subway in Farmington for several years, and I think she's in Cherokee Pass now, working for that's the last I heard. Happy birthday wishes to you. And one of the Howard boys, Josh Howard,
Josh Howard.
celebrating a birthday on Wednesday. He's a big dude.
Yeah.
I'm talking like he's as tall as Jason, but everything that Jason
more
has
muscular.
that has kind of drifted south is still up north around the shoulders for him. So we'll call him Mr. Howard.
Mr. Howard. Happy birthday to Farmington Theater teacher Katie Conaway. Happy birthday to her. Doug Wicker used to be at Mineral Area College. I'm not sure where he's making videos and movies now, but he continues to be awesomely successful. Happy birthday, Doug. Missy Bernia with a birthday on Wednesday. We're going to talk about a fundraiser that she's working up in our events page. And John Barry, former Park Hills Save-A-Lot manager. Now he's one of the bulkies over at Bulk Tank and enjoying life there. John Barry, happy birthday to you. What about Thursday, November 14th?
Lots of birthdays on Thursday, including my favorite St. Paul High School teacher, Andrea McClanahan. Happy birthday wishes to you, Andrea, from your mom and your dad and your sister and your grandparents. She does so much good. She's like a teacher, technically, at St. Paul, but she's also a coach. She also helps organize fundraisers. She is Miss St. Paul High School. So happy birthday to you, Andrea, and a two-time Lutheran of the Year, by the way, as well. Another one of my favorite people that I've ever interviewed, Jacqueline Rowe, celebrates her birthday today. If you ever have a chance to go see Jacqueline speak at an event, do so. She speaks across the country.
Yeah.
She is a great motivational speaker, and she's just an even better person. So, Jacqueline, happy birthday to you. Hope you're doing fantastic. Our good buddy, sponsor of the podcast, Matt Sebastian.
Yes.
President, First State Community Bank in
Happy
Farmington.
birthday, sir.
Happy birthday to you. My only question is, why does your wife, Cindy, look so much younger than you? Probably good living on Cindy's part.
Yes.
But Matt, happy birthday to you. Hope you're doing fantastic. Happy birthday wishes going out to Megan Gerstenschlager.
All right,
She
Megan.
works at Kreckler Jewelers in
Yes.
beautiful downtown Farmington, one of the more shiny, bright jewels of Kreckler Jewelers. Happy birthday from your husband, your little baby, and all
Not
of
so
your
little
family.
anymore.
Yeah, probably about 4, do you think, maybe? Happy birthday wishes to you. And let's see, Irma O'Neill works at the Farmington Senior Center. Happy birthday to you, Irma. We hope you do a fantastic, have a fantastic day. I work with her on Tuesdays at the Senior Center. And Mary Long Jones, happy birthday wishes to you. She's a good Fredericktown girl. We've been friends on Facebook for an awful long time. Happy birthday, Mary.
I got guitar wizard Darren Thomas with a birthday on Thursday. Happy birthday, Darren. Jared Embry. Happy birthday, Jared. He was the baby of the Embry clan, and now his son, one of the top receivers for the Farmington High School football team, and an actor. So there you go. Happy birthday, Jared. Hope it's a great day for you. And Fro Collinsworth with a birthday on Thursday as well. Happy birthday, Fro. Hope it's a great day. What about Friday, November 15th?
Friday, my cousin Armando Toti. Man, my family had such cool names on my dad's side because they're all Italian.
Yeah.
Armando. My dad's first name technically was Amadeo.
No way.
Yeah, and I got named after a dog with a speech impediment. Mark. They got all the cool names. Anyway, happy birthday to you, Armando. Hope you're doing great. One of our favorite people here at the podcast. Never miss an opportunity to give her a shout out, Kristen White.
Yeah.
Celebrating a
Happy birthday.
Yeah. I don't know how old you are technically. She's a good Arcadia Valley girl. I'm going to put you down at 26 because that's how old you look. So happy birthday wishes to you. Steve Schwent. Happy birthday to you, buddy. Hope you're doing good. That's from all your family. And Janine McIntyre. Pride and joy of First State Community Bank. Happy birthday wishes to you, Janine. Hope you're doing great.
So I have had a skill that I've showed off at every job I ever went to. I'm a pretty
You can belch
good,
the alphabet?
Well, that goes without saying.
Yes.
But I mean, I'm a pretty good typist. Like I type very well compared to most people my age. And this birthday celebrator is the reason why. Cherie Berry. Cherie's birthday is Friday, November 15th. She's very famous. She has like her own paper company, and she's done wedding invitations and stuff for all these places, all these famous people all over the world. But I wanted to impress her because she sat next to me in keyboarding. So like I paid really close attention, and I tried really hard with all the drills and everything that they had us do to learn how to type fast. So thank you, Cherie. That is a skill I've used at every job I think I've ever had. Heather Dugal with a birthday on Friday as well. I don't know if Heather inspired me to have any other special talents, but we'll just say that Heather made me a more thorough journalist.
Is Cherie Berry any relation to Charlie?
Charlie Berry, no, but she is Jackie Berry's middle daughter.
Oh, Jackie Berry. Shout out to Jackie Berry.
Jackie
She
and
is
Bill.
awesome. She was one of the people I had lunch with at El Tapatio this past Thursday. Lee Ragsdale was there. We had Suzanne Baker was there. Kathy Thompson and her son as well. We're all there.
Cool. Saturday, November 16th.
Saturday, one of the coolest gals I know, Caitlin Winsick, celebrates a birthday on Saturday. I got to know her when she worked at Big River Telephone.
Big River Telephone.
Other than the fact that she is an awesome, awesome gal, her dad was a St. Louis Blues hockey player.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yes. So happy birthday to you, Caitlin. I hope you're doing great. Keeping with the family affair, Shy Cox celebrates a birthday, offspring of Shannon Cox. Shannon, who got me to sing at the Habitat for Humanity fundraiser.
We saw and heard that.
Yes, a lot of people did, unfortunately. Shy, happy birthday to you. And Michelle Needham, happy birthday to you. Michelle is a lean, mean, working out machine at the Farmington Civic Center. Happy birthday wishes to you, young lady.
Happy birthday to Crystal Haggerty, fine teacher, I believe, in the Belgrade School District, wife of Scott. Happy birthday to you, Crystal. And David Rickard, Highway Patrol. I don't know if he's in the Highway Patrol anymore, but he was for many, 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 many years, which he's a Deloge boy. We grew up together. And, of course, we know the things that he did before he was in law enforcement. And it always makes me smile when I think of the things that David probably had to do to teenagers who did the exact same thing as he did a few years before.
Any relation to Kyle?
Yeah, that's Kyle's older brother.
Okay.
Special K. That's Kyle's nickname.
That would be a good name for Kyle.
But yeah, David and Kyle, the Rickard boys. It's David's birthday on Saturday. Happy birthday to you, buddy. And then what do you got for Sunday, November 17th?
Sunday, let's start off by wishing Alice Johnson a happy birthday. She is one of the main bigwigs with the Help the Hungry bake sale and auction. Alice, you do such a fantastic job. Really helps a lot with the barbecue that Help the Hungry does. Happy birthday to you, Alice. Where she lives was one of the places where the bear in
Really?
Farmington was actually almost in their backyard.
Nice.
So there you go. She could barely stand the excitement of that.
Oh, man, yes.
Happy birthday wishes to you. Happy birthday wishes to Holly Johns, married to my buddy Stevie Johns. Happy birthday to you, Holly. Hope you're doing fantastic. Tony Paulus III.
Yes.
He is a lean, mean golfing machine. Happy birthday to you. Tim Barton, happy birthday to you. Used to be heavily involved in the Farmington Chamber. Got married, moved off to Texas is where he's living now. And happy birthday to somebody you know pretty well, Kyle Gibbs.
Yeah. Happy birthday to Kyle. Got another one for you, too. Kyle Whaley, my brother-in-law, with a birthday on Sunday. Happy birthday, Kyle. Hope it's a great day for you. He's a extreme podcast fan, always really good about sharing it out and helping his brother-in-law. Also, too, like when it comes to work and doing things that require physical labor.
He's good at it.
Oh, my. Yeah, I don't know what I'd do without Kyle. Danielle Wolford, Miss Wolford from Farmington High School with a birthday on Sunday. Fine science teacher there. And one of my favorite former students, Mr. R.J. Griffith. We called him Adult R.J. at Unitech, which the kids all thought was hilarious. But he was a Mac student. He was an adult student. And I had another kid named R.J. who was in high school. So R.J. Griffith was Adult R.J., and then R.J., oh my gosh, now his last name escapes me. Anyways, the high school, R.J. Cole, he was a student R.J. because he didn't like kid R.J.
You can call me Ray. You can call me Jay. But you doesn't have to call me Johnson. That's an old Fridays routine. Sorry, every time I see RJ,
Yeah.
I got to repeat it.
Right, absolutely. So those are your birthdays for the week of November 11th. Earth Mother Health Foods, earthmotherhealthfoods.com. They're on Harrison Street in downtown Farmington, right behind the police station, 756-7852. But what makes Earth Mother Health Foods so great is the knowledge and the expertise of everybody in that building.
I was talking to Mary Lee this past Friday. She says, I only have to take one pill. And she goes, I take a whole lot of this healthy stuff that we sell here, and I only have to take one medication. And I thought, wow, that's a pretty good testimony. I want to give a shout out as well to Miss Melanie. She hooks me up with the good tea. I've got a spearmint peppermint blend. And not only does it taste delicious, it smells fantastic. When I mix it up in the morning, man, you get the smell of peppermint and spearmint that just goes throughout my house. It is wonderful. They also have some wonderful treats there that I am just addicted to. And when you go there, with every purchase, they give you one of these magazines. It's called Delicious Living. It's got recipes and ideas to cook and to cook healthy. I absolutely love everything about Earth Mother Health Foods. I could get lost in there.
Are you going to start cooking now?
No. But for people who do, yes.
Earth Mother Health Foods, earthmotherhealthfoods.com.
Am I going to cook?
Stop by and see him today. We love telling you about all the cool stuff that happens around the area, and our main ally to provide that information to you is Discover Farmington. They are all about not only promoting the city of Farmington, Mark, but the entire Farmington region.
Boy, when you think back over the year that was, as we're now into November, and you look at all the different events, and I'm not going to list them all because we don't have time, but all the outdoor concerts, the Blues Brews and barbecues, the cemetery tour, the 100th anniversary of Long Haul, they just really have made Farmington and this entire area a real destination point. If you want to know what's happening in and around this area, Discover Farmington is a fantastic tool to do just that.
And the Christmas season is coming up quickly. And of course, Discover Farmington will have all the information about all the cool Christmas celebrations that are planned for the Parkland as well. Discover Farmington, more than you ever imagined. Ready for some sports on this edition of the Parkland Podcast? Of course you are. Otherwise, you've already hit the skip button. Mark, let's start with volleyball. Huge news. Some very successful local programs, but the biggest coming out of Potosi.
Yeah, the Potosi Lady Trojans volleyball team has won the state championship. Congratulations to them, and congratulations to the St. Pius volleyball team, also state champions this year.
Lancers win it in Class 4, Lady Trojans in Class 3. So congratulations, Coach Ashley Matthews, Blair Franklin, Tierra McCarthy, and Chandler Franklin. And the players as well, Layla Juliet, Taylor Rayfield, Ava Robart, who's going on to play some big-time college volleyball, Chloe Wigger, Carson Yunt. Those are the seniors. There's no juniors on the team, so it'll be up to the very talented sophomore class to take over next year, but they're in pretty good hands there with Corrine Ainley, McKenna Branham, Sophie Esmeyer, Adeline Gibson, Adeline Kirby, Mason McCarthy, Haley Payne, Eden Robart, and McKinley Summers. The Robart sisters were amazing, and they only dropped one set in the postseason, and I believe that was to I think it was Cape Notre Dame in the district championship game. So, again, congratulations, Potosi. First time to the Final Four, first time ever winning a school state championship.
Job well done.
Yeah, and also St. Vincent in the Final Four as well. They post a top 4 finish in Class 2. How about some high school football from Week 12?
The St. Vincent Indians continue to roll, shutting out Louisiana 26-0.
And they're not the only local team alive in Class 1 still. The Hornets of Crystal City, a 36-8 win over Malden.
Valley Catholic in Class 2 puts up big numbers, beating Kelly 52-14.
In Class 3, it was close at halftime, a one-score game, but the Bearcats of Dexter outlast the Black Cats of Fredericktown 56-20, ending Fredericktown's season.
St. Genevieve moving on, 26-16 over Central.
And Central's season comes to an end, though. Congratulations to Jackson Jones for breaking the school tackles record. He did that the previous week, but Central's season comes to an end in Class 3. Class 4, North County season over as well. Festus Tigers in that 35-10.
And how about this result? Perryville beating Hillsboro 21-7. Way to go, Pirates.
Oh, big game there. And then closing out Class 5, Cardinal Ritter 38-0 over St. Mary's. Cape Central outlasting Poplar Bluff. Great game there, 28-21. Cape Central the winner. So looking ahead now to Week 12 of the high school football season. This will be the championship round for each one of these districts. Van Fair will travel to St. Vincent as the undefeated Indians try to continue their quest for a Class 1 state title. Again, Crystal City still in the bracket as well. They got a tough draw going to Charleston to take on the Blue Jays. Class 2, Caruthersville comes to Valley on Friday night. St. Genevieve travels to Dexter. Class 4 is Perryville at Festus. And Class 5, top 2 seeds meeting there as Cape Central goes to Cardinal Ritter. Farmington Knights district champions in soccer. They get it done over Cape Notre Dame, and they will play Vianney at the home of the Griffins this coming Saturday. You went to a Farmington soccer game this year. Did they look like district champs when you saw them?
Went to a St. Paul soccer game.
Oh, okay. Were they playing Farmington?
They played St. Pius.
Oh, they played
St. Pius. Looked very good.
St. Pius looked very good. Okay, there you go. So Farmington moving on, and they'll play that quarterfinal game this coming Saturday against Vianney. Mineral Area College men's soccer team lost to Heartland Community College 3-1 on Saturday. MAC finishes the season at 13-5-2 and Region 16 champions for the first time in program history. In volleyball, the Lady Cards earned a bid to the national tournament and got a straight sets win in the Midwest District qualifier on Saturday against Lakeland College. But the Lady Cards would fall to Indian Hills later that day to end their postseason run. Meanwhile, in basketball, Mac men went 2-1 this week with wins over Wabash Valley and Highland Community College. Catch more with head coach Tony Irons in his recent sit-down with Chad Speaker on Knuckleball Primetime and the Barn Podcast Network. The Mac men are 3-2 so far this year and will play at home this Friday and Saturday at the Bob. And the Mac women suffered a 92-61 loss this past week to Wabash Valley. They host Vincennes on Veterans Day and then go to the Pearl River Classic on Thursday and Friday. The ladies are 2-1 to start the season. And that's a check of sports here on the Parkland Podcast. Yummy, yummy Save-A-Lots of the Parkland, Bonne Terre, DeSoto, Potosi, Park Hills, and Farmington. Butchers at every store. They got the 5 for $24.99 deal. And there's always something new and interesting to try. I know my brother-in-law kind of created a Emo's Pizza dip, and he got all the ingredients from our local Save-A-Lot store.
I'll tell you what, and we're getting very close to Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to get your Thanksgiving turkey,
yes,
you definitely want to check out Save-A-Lot. And then for your Christmas hams, I know that Clint will be more than happy to give you the hookup there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They do the best. I know my dad has already secured the Thanksgiving ham. He's kind of weird. But that'll be coming up. And yes, Save-A-Lot is your place to go for your holiday feast.
Nice, clean stores, wonderful people, great place to shop and save. How about that?
Ooh, save a lot of the Parkland. Heimberger Construction has the beautiful website, heimbergerconstruction.com. There you can see the beautiful work they've done around the Parkland, or just kind of look around when you're driving around. And Mark, that's all because of the great support they get from Butler Buildings.
Yeah, Butler Buildings, they are the best metal building system on the market. The only buildings that have a pre-punched roof system and standard 360-degree roof seam for their standing seam roof. And you've got Jennifer Heimberger when you deal with Heimberger Construction. She is one of the most on-the-ball people I have ever met, and she really wants to do the job, and she wants to do it well. She wants to do it right, and she wants to give you the best bang for your buck. So if you're adding on, if you're expanding, if you're relocating, and you need a new building, I totally recommend Heimberger Construction.
HeimbergerConstruction.com, your home of Butler Buildings in the Parkland and in this region. They've done work locally. They've done work nationally. Check them all out. HeimbergerConstruction.com. Back on the Parkland Podcast, and it's time to talk some theater here at Mineral Area College. We have the director of the theater program here for the Mineral Area Fine Arts Academy.
That is correct.
Mr. Jason Carr, thanks so much for doing this interview with us.
No
Appreciate
problem.
it.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, no problem. So we know the story about how this organization was born.
Yeah.
Mineral Area College deciding to discontinue the theater department. Bob Monk steps in with the help of yourself, with people like Kevin White. He's able to kind of pull together music and theater department, and you guys have just picked up the pieces and you've taken off, and you've had an amazing run of shows. First off, talk a little bit about the beginning, because I know this all happened. You were in a business that was very lucrative at the time, and you said, you know what? I want to come back to the stage. Tell us about that.
Well, first off, when Mac made those decisions, it was a necessity. You know what I mean? And we were going into the COVID and all that stuff, and everybody was hurting. And it wasn't just the theater department and the music department. There was also the agriculture department and other things that had to go away for a little bit. But the good news is almost all of those things are back, or they're coming back. So you can now take college credit classes for music. and hopefully starting next year you can for theater. So because of the successes of the Academy, I feel like we're on a really good road to getting all those programs back. So wanted to mention that first. But in the beginning, I was sitting at home, and at the time I was selling cars, and at the time it was Auto Plaza, now it's Pettis Automotive, and I was doing very well. I had finally reached that point that as a car salesman, when you first get started, it's slow. And everybody else has their returning customers and all this business that just comes to them because they've been in the business a while. Well, the new guy, you're making cold calls and all this other stuff, and just trying to, you're the guy running out to the parking lot when someone shows up. And I had finally reached the point that customers were coming to me. And, I had my book of business and people I could call and all that stuff. So I finally reached the point that I was making really good money. And so Bob calls me. He goes, "Hey, let's have lunch." He goes, "I want to talk to you about some things." And he, and I knew about what had happened here. And he was like, "I know you know a lot about theater. I know you know about business and making money and stuff." He's like, "Is it possible for a theater department to survive on its own?" He was like, "Can it make enough money to support itself?" He goes, "I don't care if it profits as long as it's not losing money." And I was like, "Absolutely," and he's like, "Well, how?" And I was like, "Get as many people involved as you possibly can." I was like, do family-friendly shows with a bunch of kids in it, do familiar titles that everybody knows. And because if you have a college-age kid in a show, their mom and dad are probably going to come, and maybe a couple of their friends. But if you get an 8-year-old in the show, their parents, their grandparents, their cousins, their aunts, their uncles, teachers, and soccer coaches and dance coaches, that one kid might bring 25 people to come see the show, So we started out big. We did Music Man, first show out of the gate, we had 40-something people in the cast, and then when we did Seussical the Musical, we had 81 people in the show. And so we were just doing these big cast productions and involving as many people as possible, and the shows kept selling out. So we figured, let's stick to that formula for a while, and we've done some more adult theme type stuff. We did Sweeney Todd, and the show didn't completely sell out, but we only missed it by about 40 tickets out of 1,200. That's a pretty solid number. Most places would call that a sellout, But then we went right back and did Matilda, another big show with a lot of kids. And in the summertime, we do 5 performances instead of 4, and we sold Matilda out. So, Little Shop of Horrors that we're doing right now, small cast show, mostly adults. We're hoping to pull in the big numbers because of the title, But anyway, way back to the story I strayed from.
No, this is what podcasts are all about,
right?
my friend.
Yeah, and I'm really bad about it, so sometimes you'll have to pull me back in.
No, it's good.
So I'm talking to Bob, and I explained all that to him, and he was like, "Well, that sounds good," and I told him, I was like, "I'll put together some numbers and whatever and kind of show you like what I think would work." And I showed it to him, and he was like, "This looks positive. This looks really good." He was like, "Why don't you come to Mac with me, and we'll talk to, some of the administration there about it." And I was like, "I don't know, and he's like, "Do you know anybody who would do this job?" And I was like, I don't think so, not off the top of my head. And so he was like, "Well, why don't you do it?" I'm like, there's no way, It was like, I finally found a place in life where feel like I'm successful and stuff, and doing pretty well. And he was like, "Oh, all right, I understand." And then one day he calls me and he's like, "Hey, meet me over at Mac." So I meet him, and he walks me into a boardroom where president and provost and board members and stuff are sitting there. And I had no idea, And
Right.
so they're like, "Hey, tell us about this." And so I explained to them what I explained to Bob and what I just explained to you. And they're like, "This sounds great. Do you want to do this?" And I'm like, "No, there's no way." And, they kept telling me, "We think you think this way, and this is how the program will probably be successful. I think you would stick to this plan." And I was like, "I don't know, guys." And so I talked to Bob about a week later, and he told me, he was like, "I think we're just going to do music for now." He goes, "We'll just start with music, and we'll wait about 2 years, and if the music thing takes off, we'll add theater." And I was like, "That can't happen." I was like, people are passionate about this right now.
Right.
I was like, you got to strike while the iron is hot. Let's put out those fires and you know, do something about it. You know, you have to do theater. And he was like, well, I just don't know. I don't know how. I don't know how to get it off the ground, you know? And so I go home that night and I'm sitting there watching TV and I just got this sinking feeling and this sick feeling in my gut that this room we're sitting in right now would not be used for 2 years, you know? And I was like, if we don't do this right now, people are gonna find somewhere else to go or somebody else is gonna beat them to it and open their own theater place. I was like, this has to happen. So I broke down and I called him and I was like, let's do it. Let's do this. And so I went in, put my 2 weeks notice in at work, and they told me they didn't need me, which, I mean, in the car sales business, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
You know, they actually gave me a glowing exit interview, and I walked out of there, you know, praising how they had treated me and everything. So there's still a really good relationship there. But, and in no time, I was here, you know, and from the moment I walked in the door, it felt like home again because, I mean, this is where I spent a lot of my years in my late teens and early 20s, and you know, this room and the way I look at it saved my life. So I'm glad to be here.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Little Shop of Horrors. How different is this play from the movie that a lot of people are familiar with?
Well, it follows the same arc, essentially. You know, the nerdy guy who loves the girl with the abusive boyfriend, and you know, he has this little plant that he found, and since he finds this plant, his luck seems to be getting better. And then he finds out that the plant is not such a good guy, and convinces him to do things and you know, possibly hurt or kill people so he can feed the plant. And so all that stuff is similar. There's a song that was written for the movie that is not in the play, was Mean Green Mother. And then there are two that didn't make the movie, and it's Mushnick and Son and It's Just the Gas, which is one of the Dentist songs, and it's amazing. So there's a couple of different songs flip-flopped there, but the show follows the same arc. The ending's a little different, but it's still the same story.
Tell us about the cast. Was it difficult? Because I'm sure you had a lot of people to choose from. People want to be in the show.
Yeah, we had to cut quite a few people. And I still cast more people than you're supposed to in the show.
Right.
I'm notorious for that. So, you know, the show can be done with 7 to 9 people, and you know, most people cast about a dozen, and I cast 20. And basically, there's some extra people in the very beginning scene and the very ending scene that are playing like bums and homeless people and stuff. But I'm very, very happy with this cast. The gentleman who is playing Seymour, his name's Justin Radford. He's from the area. He was in Little Shop of Horrors here in 2001 when I was in it too. So he was the dentist that time, but this time he's Seymour.
What were you in the?
I was Mr. Mushnick.
Okay.
I was the mean flower shop owner that takes advantage of Seymour. So the father figure / boss that takes advantage of him. It's a fun role too. They're all fun in this show. It's just the music's fun. All the roles are fun. It's a great time. So. Working with Justin's been great. He and I were, you know, friends years ago, and he actually moved out to LA for 18 years and did acting and directing and writing and all kinds of stuff out there. And he's back home now, and you know, having him in the show when I'm kind of struggling with something creatively, I know I've got somebody there that I can bounce an idea off of, and he'll tell me if it's dumb, you know.
Right.
He's a straight
Free
shooter.
with his opinion,
yeah, for sure. But I want that. I don't want anybody to fluff up a bad idea, you know. And he's a super talented guy, and I love having him around. It's a great experience for the rest of the cast to get to work with someone with that much experience too. So. Our Audrey is a young lady that's a Mac student. Her name is Maddie or Madeline Gidden, and it's her first musical actually, and I didn't learn that till yesterday.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, I knew she had done theater in high school, but I didn't know that she hadn't done a musical. You wouldn't be able to tell. She's doing a bang-up job, so really proud of her. Our dentist is Zabian Gussman, who has done a ton of shows for us here, and he's really coming into his own. He's becoming a great performer. His singing has gone from no singing experience to being somebody I can rely on, you know, and this character, he's so into it. Like he's the creepy masochistic, you know, guy, and he's loving every minute of it. The plant is voiced by Michael Cantrell, who has also done a bunch of shows for us, and he will morph into anything you need him to. He played Harold Hill and Music Man. He played Horton the Elephant. This is way different than either of those roles.
Yes.
So, you know, and he pulls out that big voice, jazzy, bluesy stuff and tears it up. And then our Mr. Mushnick, a young man named Ethan Kerr, who is a Farmington High School student, actually. So he's done a handful of shows there. He was in our town when we just did it. And the cool thing is like, we get a lot of people to come back, but we're getting new faces every time, you know, and like when we just did our town, it was a cast of 27, 28 people, and I think only 5 or 6 of them were people that had done a show here before, you know, so we're getting a lot of new people to show up all the time and good talent. And one of the things I think that's really helped that is all of the local theater directors now were working together, to where at one time there was a lot of pushback.
Right.
You know, because, you know, people were afraid to let their kids come to the college program because they felt like they weren't going to want to do the high school shows anymore. And I tell all of these kids, the only way I want you in my program is if you got cut from your high school show, or if you just don't want to do their show. I don't want you to have to decide. Do I go to Mac and do the show, or do I do my high school show? Always do your high school show. We'll be here. You've only got 4 years of high school. Do your high school shows with your friends in your own theater department. So I'm not fighting to get anybody else's students to be here. Everybody's here at their own free will, and now we're all loaning each other props and, you know, all this other stuff, and helping each other, and you know, we do a lot to help each other out now. So, and I think that's, when I went to school here, it wasn't that way. You know, everybody had their own little thing, and they didn't want to work with anybody else. So.
And I think a part of that too is because yourself, Chuck Gallagher, Kayla Lowry,
Jen Stokes,
Jen Stokes, all Rick Giles students.
Yeah, yep.
And that's something that you guys all share too.
Yep, absolutely. And I think that's crazy. And when you really think about it, that, you know, when they just did this Babblin' About Broadway show, I was looking up on that stage and I was like, how many of those people went through MAC? You know, almost all of those people have either been on this stage or been in that band room or been in the choirs here. And now as adults, they're still out there performing and getting along and having the time of their life doing it, you know. So this room that we're in has done a whole lot for a whole lot of people.
Talk about the plant back there and what the challenges are of making that do what it needs to do on a play.
Okay, so to start off, to my understanding, that plant originated in Springfield, Missouri.
Okay.
And then they loaned it to Farmington High School to do their production of Little Shop of Horrors. And at the end of that, to what was told to me, I haven't asked Brandon or anybody about that. It was one of the students that told me that they were like, hey, we're done with your plant. We can bring it back anytime. And they were like, why don't you just keep it? So then Farmington was like, oh, okay. And so they were kind of stuck with it essentially. And then they ended up giving it or renting it or selling it to the University of Health Sciences and Pharmacy, the College of Pharmacy in St. Louis.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know they had a theater program. So I
don't know. I know a lot of pharmacists, and they're pretty dramatic.
Sure,
so
yeah,
that's
absolutely,
probably,
for sure. You know, I didn't say they weren't capable, but yeah, it's a buddy of mine when I was in college had actually had a basketball scholarship to the College of Pharmacy. You know, and I was like,
a buddy of mine's the sports information director for
really,
him.
that's awesome. Yeah, who knew? You know, but I mean, I guess everywhere has some sort of program. So, but it ended up there, and so someone told me, they're like, well, the College of Pharmacy has it now. And I'm like, well, I'll check around a little closer and whatever and see if I can come up with something. So I put a post out on Facebook in the St. Louis metro area, blah, blah, blah. Does anybody have, you know, an Audrey 2 or connections to one? And the very first thing that popped up was like, contact Tim Moylan at the College of Pharmacy. And I was like, okay, I guess that's what's supposed to happen then. So I reached out to him, and he's like, yeah, no problem. And you know, he told me, he's like, you know, I'm just excited to talk to another theater wizard. And I was like, I don't know that I'm a wizard. I feel like I'm just a guy that's lucky to have my job, you know. And so I went up there and I talked to him. A really interesting guy, and you can tell he's very tech oriented. And the system that's used for that plant is, there's a lot of compound angles in the frame that he built and all this stuff, and the plant actually pivots on a trailer hitch, like for a trailer. So it's a ball, and then the hitch goes on top of it, and the whole plant just pivots and turns on that trailer ball. So it moves really easily. And you know, but I got to talking to him, and you could just tell this guy's brilliant, you know, like all these the tech side of things. And so we talked for a while, and you know, he's even like, you know, if I ever need props, you know, I'll hit you up and you do the same for me, and I'll help you out. He goes, even if you're ever having a problem, how do I figure out this or these angles and do that? He's like, give me a call. I'd love to come down and help you. So
awesome. Really
Really cool guy. And so the challenge is, obviously, you take a look at it, that thing's a monstrosity. You know, yeah, there are 4 stages of the plant. The smallest one is about the size of a little hand puppet, the first one. The second one is in a flower pot that the puppeteer puts their hand in the flower pot, and it's bigger. And then the third one is a full over the body that you control like this. And then there's that one that you sit inside, and you've got, you know, a big handle that you pump up and down like rowing a boat. And so the person operating these things is completely separate from the person voicing them.
Okay. That's what I was going to ask. Is he'd have to learn all? Michael Cantrell have to learn all this?
So I don't think people realize the cardiovascular condition you need to be in to operate these puppets. That third one for sure, because you're holding the whole weight of it, and you're moving it all around yourself, and you know, doing all that, and the interaction with other people, and you know, so you see all these things. And when she gets out of it, she'll like pull her head through the middle, and she's just like drenched in sweat, you know.
And who's the operator?
Her name is Olivia. She is a art student here actually, and she's one of my work studies. Yeah, great kid. She's super talented. She actually made our second pod from scratch. Wow. And it's unbelievable. And she's actually in the process of repainting all of them to look more similar to one another. She's been a huge help. I have another work study too. Her name is Nicola Myers, and she's actually sitting about 15 feet from us here.
Just off screen.
Just off screen. But they're both a huge help to me every day. They're the ones painting everything and finding props and doing all this other stuff. And this is actually my first semester with work studies since I've been here. So that's been a huge help. Takes a lot of weight off my shoulders, you know.
Doubt.
And they're getting, you know, I think you get 12 hours a week or 19, and then the other one gets 12 hours a week. So I got 31 hours of help every week, where that's 31 more than I had before. So
very cool.
That is wonderful. Yep.
When does the show run?
It opens November 21st and runs through the 24th. We've all decided locally, even though we're all helping each other out, that we've been really terrible about scheduling, because our show is the same exact week as Potosi and the same exact week as Farmington as well. But to my understanding, they've both made accommodations. Potosi they're doing a day show Friday and Saturday or something like that, so their kids can do their show and then still come over here and watch it. And I think Farmington's show doesn't run Sunday, does it?
That's what I'm hoping. Yeah, I'd love to have a Sunday off. That'd be great.
So I think, you know, we've all kind of helped out a little bit there, so we can hopefully get to see each other's shows. So yeah, it's runs through the 24th. The Thursday, Friday, and Saturday shows are 6:30, and the Sunday show is at 2 p.m. Tickets are at mafinearts.org, and they're general admission tickets for $12 a piece.
Okay, so you go to the website, you reserve them, and then you pick them up here at the door. Will there be tickets available at the door, you think, or is it better?
There should be. This one's not selling as fast as the others have, but I always get this feeling, and I'm like, oh no, this is about to bomb, you know, and then all of a sudden the last 2 weeks, ticket sales blow up.
Right.
Everybody waits till the last minute, you know.
Especially this time of year with so much going on.
For sure, going into the holidays and stuff. And you know, we had other plans. You know, we were originally supposed to be doing Elf the musical. And then they told me it was going to be a 6 to 8 week wait before we found out yes or no. And then I was like, oh. So then I applied for like 6 other shows just all at once to see. And the 3 that I got approved for were the musical version of Miracle on 34th Street, Little Shop of Horrors, and a show called the 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, which is actually a really, really cool show. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to leave it to the public. And I put a post out on Facebook for a poll, and Little Shop won. And so I'm hoping all those people that voted go and buy some tickets. Yep, for sure.
What's next? What's the next show people can come and try out for?
December 8th, we will be having auditions for The Hobbit. And Michael Cantrell, who teaches some of our theater classes here and has been in a lot of shows, is actually directing that. It's like a passion thing for him, doing anything Tolkien related. And so he'll be directing that show. And he's actually been teaching a class here. It's a puppeteering class. And so he and his students have actually built the puppets that are going to be the trolls and the dragon and all that stuff. And so they're working on all that. And he's going to do a great job with it. I mean, that sort of thing is in his wheelhouse for sure. Then the plan after that is, as long as we get those rights approved, we're going to do The Sound of Music. And then over the summer, more than likely, we will be doing the High School Musical.
Ooh,
Yep.
High School Musical, the musical.
Correct.
All right. Fantastic. How can people find out more information, those audition dates, things like that?
Just, it's always posted on the website somewhere. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, there's like a little scrolling calendar that you can check the upcoming dates. And I just noticed today, the person who makes the calendar, somehow their child's dentist appointment is on there as well.
Oh, well,
So,
hey,
yeah.
great.
You're right,
you
yeah.
know?
So if anybody needs to know, yeah. So I was just scrolling through there and I'm like, Isaiah's dentist appointment. That's really
Wow,
funny.
that's awesome.
But yeah.
Great.
Yep.
And so Facebook too, you guys on Facebook, Instagram, places there?
Mineral Area Fine Arts Academy. We post on Facebook a lot more than Instagram, and it's just it's a habit. We actually have those connected now, so if we post on Instagram first, it automatically posts it to Facebook, but most of the time I forget to go to Instagram first.
So check the socials if you want to find out more information and see Little Shop of Horrors coming up. What are those dates again?
November 21st through 24th.
And the times for the evening shows?
6:30 on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and Sunday at 2.
Jason, a real pleasure, buddy. Thanks for doing this.
Good talking to you, Jason.
All right, Jason Carr.
And Jason Lowry.
Hey, Mineral Area Fine Arts Academy. Come out and see Little Shop of Horrors happening at Mineral Area College.
Parkland Pharmacy is out to prove that local independent pharmacy is alive and well. We work hard at giving you an excellent experience every time you come to see us. We love what we do, and we would love to take care of you. There's no need to be frustrated with your health care. If you're tired of what your pharmacy is not doing for you, then stop waiting in line and come see us today. We have 6 locations across Southeast Missouri, so Google us to find the store nearest you or visit parklandrx.com. Parkland Pharmacy is a local pharmacy at its finest.
They said it couldn't be done. They said the world would never accept a cookie this long, or pretzel, and probably not a churro. They also said under no circumstances should those really long and delicious treats be wildly affordable. Then we said, but we already made them, and they are. Introducing the incredible new foot-long sidekicks. Get one at Subway today.
Time to talk St. Francis County Rotary Club here on the Parkland Podcast, and we have the local authority when it comes to Rotary, Jerry Weems, our guest. Jerry, how long have you been involved in the Rotary Club and Rotary International?
Well, as I tell people, Jason, and thanks for having me out this morning, and hello to Mark. I was born in Rotary. My dad was president of our local Rotary Club before I was born. So growing up, that's all I've known. So immersed in it since life, so that would be almost 69 years worth. Officially been a member since 1980.
There are a lot of groups that do a lot of good things in this area, but I tell you what, it seems like the Rotary Club has its hands in about just every good cause there is around here.
Well, one of the models of Rotary is service above self, and Rotary was first founded upon fellowship. Then after they got the fellowship piece down, so they said, hey, guys, we've got to do something. And so they did service projects. So one of the hallmarks of Rotary is service projects in a local community or internationally. And so that's one of the things that we strive to do and being involved in our community. And as what my father taught me is when you make a living off your community, you give back to it.
Well, and a big shout out to both of you guys because you were both involved in the very first Rotary Roast featuring Kevin Engler and myself going back about, 4 or 5 years ago?
Well, it's been longer than that.
Oh, yeah.
I think we've tried to put that back in our back part of our remembrance.
I remember that night really well.
Roasted with Rotary.
I still have the bottle of wine that you gave me for that. I just won't open it. I just keep it as a memento.
That might be valuable someday.
It might so.
Be. Yeah, it's probably maybe up to $10 value right now.
Jerry, when does the Rotary Club meet? You get together, I believe, weekly, and you talk about these things.
So we do. So we meet every Monday. We meet in the private dining room at Mineral Area College. They're in the gymnasium. And like I said, one of the founders of Rotary, which was Paul Harris, his big thing, he came from small town USA, just like we're in, and he wanted friends. And so one of what we do with Rotary is we use our friendships, our acquaintances, as an avenue of service. And so we meet every Monday, and we get to sit around. We get to talk with our fellow Rotarians or guests that we have in, and it's a great way to connect with people.
You have a big basketball tournament coming up that I am sure is taking up a lot of your time now.
Yes, we have the 66th annual. No Kevin Thurman. I was not there in the beginning. We have the 66th annual Rotary Club Shootout coming up Saturday, December the 14th.
Tell us about that.
Okay, so the Rotary Club Shootout, this is how we fund our scholarships, one of our biggest projects of the year. And so every year we give $10,500 in scholarships to area high school seniors. We do all 5 of our public schools plus St. Paul Lutheran. And we give out $500 scholarships, so we give out 21 to deserving young men and women who are getting ready to leave the halls of high school and enter into college or technical schools, et cetera, those type of programs. And so our shootout is what we use to fund that. And so every year we have great support from our community. We've changed our sponsorship packages around a little bit this year, but we've had very good success with it. And we call it our sponsorship package, and we start with a support sponsor, which is a little hard to say. Support, you all say that, support.
Support sponsor.
See, there you go. Yeah, and then we have our bronze, silver, gold, and platinum level sponsors, and folks have taken to this very well. So far we have over $8,200 in commitments going toward our $10,000 goal. And then that day, of course, we kick off at 10 o'clock with our basketball games.
Who's playing?
So this year, we start off with 10 o'clock, North County and Kingston. That's a boys' event. That will be followed at 11:30 by West County and Steelville. And then we switched it up this year. We used to have the MAC women and men, and they were our last 2 games of the evening. And this year, we've moved them up to 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock. So the women will play at 1 o'clock. The men will play at 3 o'clock, and what we've done is, number one, we wanted to showcase our college teams. They're the kind of the center point of the whole event, but also then that gives those folks who are traveling to play these 2 games an opportunity of either getting back home that evening without dragging out of here at 10 o'clock at night, and then also making that travel a little bit easier for schools coming a little farther distance and maybe getting a little different opponent for those 2. And then at 5 o'clock, it's the Central Girls hosting St. Pius. At 6:30, it is South Iron, which always is a favorite here in our area, and they will also be hosting St. Pius. So that's a boys' game, and then a nightcap this year, Farmington Knights and the Hillsboro Hawks. And from what we know, Farmington has an outstanding basketball program this year, so we're looking forward to a great game and a great crowd to end our evening that night, and that will kick off about 8. So we get out of there about 9:30 or so.
How much does it cost per ticket?
So that's the neat thing about our shootout. It's $5, and that's all day. You can come, you can stay the whole day, you can come and you can go. we'll have a concession stand, and we've got several folks that for years now they show up at our first game, and you still see them there when the final whistle blows at the nightcap.
And won't we see all the Rotary folks there cooking the food?
We
and
do.
making sure everybody's
We
having
do
fun?
all the food. We do all. We welcome you when you come in. We make sure that you know what's going on. We do a concession stand. Then this year we're also going to feature T-shirts to commemorate the day.
I think of Lois Ann Meyer working the gate at the Rotary Shootout.
Yep.
And the fond memories there. And
Yes.
so many of the other great Rotarians, again, who volunteered their time.
Yep, such a great day. You'll see us all out there. Matter of fact, that's why Kevin Thurman joined our club. Of course, Kevin was working with the college already at that point, and he saw us all there at the shootout and says, hey, this looks like a fun group, and he got involved, and he's a very important part of our club today.
Of course, one of the big things that come along with all of this is the Hall of Fame.
Is our Hall of Fame. So several years ago, we started what's called the St. Francis County Rotary Club and the Mineral Area College Hall of Fame. And this year, our inductees are Arthur Agee.
Yes.
From basketball, of course.
Hoop Dreams.
Hoop Dreams. And then we're also going to feature the cross-country team who took home the very first national championship ever at Mineral Area College.
They're going to run around the gym the whole event.
Well, we'll
and
see
never
how
get
many.
tired.
We'll see how many of them can still run. We'll see what kind of shape they're in.
I bet they're all still pretty good. Man.
Yeah, they're not that old yet.
Well, I know. Well, and of course, for an individual and our team to be inducted in the Hall of Fame, they have to be gone from Mineral Area College or graduated, finished their schooling here for at least 5 years.
Okay.
So that's hard to believe, but that's going to put those folks in their mid-20s. So we'll see, at least in their mid-20s, we'll see how good a shape they're still in. Why don't you two come out there and we'll set up some sort of a contest that night?
I can tell you who'd win that already.
Yeah, it'd be,
Not us.
it'd be Jason, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I had a pretty sweet shot from the outside. Anyways, go ahead.
Not talking about shot, we're talking about running,
Oh,
Jason.
no. We're both screwed.
Yeah. So, are you on the committee that helps choose the inductees?
Yes.
I have said this before, and I will say it again. I would love to be a fly on the wall just to hear some of the stories that get told in those meetings.
Well, maybe.
Maybe I don't want to be.
I was going to say, if we have to eliminate somebody. No, I'm just kidding you. Yeah, it's area. We got a lot of great memories. Of course, we started with Coach Sechrist and Coach Lowry, and we've come on down the ranks, and we've got a whole wall of individuals, both individuals and teams, coaches, players, and of course, then we also have the Eileen Sechrist Award that will be given out this year. Eileen was the former wife of head coach Bob Sechrist.
First Lady of Mac.
First Lady of Mac, Mama Seek, many other wonderful nicknames, maybe even a couple that we're not going to say on air today, but she was such a dear lady. Sechrist family holds very special memories to this area, to, of course, the college, and so we honor her with an individual or individuals who, once again, have made a big impact at Mineral Area College in the athletic team without actually being a athlete and or a coach. So if you're an athlete or a coach, you cannot ever win the Eileen Sechrist Award. Last year, of course, our recipient was Murphy Thomas. As you know, Murphy has been involved with Mineral Area College for several years.
Absolutely.
And this year, and a drum roll, please, our recipient is Roy the Floy Henson.
Yeah.
So wake up, Roy.
Oh, my. The stories that
Oh, there you go. Now you talk about some
Roy.
stories. Now,
Yeah.
now we can get into it.
Oh, my.
Yeah,
Can you imagine Roy in the basketball house back in the day?
yeah. Just don't let him get started talking. We'll be
my.
here longer than we have daylight.
Tell us about the Rotary as a whole and just a few of the other things that you get involved in.
So, like I said, Rotary is a service organization. We have a membership of about 42 individuals right now. We do our fundraising, which helps our scholarships. That's the basketball shootout we just talked about. March 15th will be our annual Rotary Club Mouse Races.
Ooh, those are big.
And those are a great event. And as I tell people, and you mentioned Lois Ann Meyer a while ago, when we brought this idea to the club, Lois Ann Meyer said, well, I think that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. And of course, she attended because she's very faithful to everything. And she had the time of her life, and she never missed a mouse race after that. So the Rotary Club Mouse Race is March 15th. We're actually moving this year to the campus of Monroe College in the new MacTech building, so that's going to be exciting. April 30th is our annual golf tournament. In May, we're involved. We're the major sponsor for Special Olympics. It's the second week of May this year. And then, of course, we do other things like Wednesday night, for example, is a service project. We're going to be cooking and serving a meal at Mum's Cafe at Memorial United Methodist Church. We do that 2 or 3 times a year. So that's one of our service projects. We in October, we did the Karsh Boulevard trash pickup. And then, like I said, we go into March for the mouse races, April for the golf tournament, May is the Special Olympics, and then that pretty much takes us up to the end of our Rotary year. We end on June 30th of each year as far as our actual Rotary year.
If you are a group that would like to seek funding from the Rotary Club, or if you're just an individual who would like to get involved with the Rotary Club, how do they reach out?
Or if you're someone that says, hey, I've got an idea for a service project, we'd be very open to that. And it can be large or small. Like we took a meeting last week and we put together products for young girls. And so, we there was about 30 of us, and we got a whole lot done in less than an hour. And those type projects we're open to do also. But you can find us on Facebook. You can just come visit us at our meeting at Monroe College every Monday at noon. You can call me at any time. I'm 573-631-1672. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me out, in the community. We would love to hear from people. We would love to get ideas on how we can additionally serve, not better serve, but additionally serve this great community. And we are a county-wide organization, so whether you're in Farmington or Bismarck or Bonne Terre, French Village, et cetera, we cover a wide area, and we would love to hear from folks and be able to make an impact.
Fantastic. Jerry, thanks so much for your time.
Oh, absolutely. It's always great to be here. You guys are doing a wonderful job. We appreciate the support you two have lended to both the club. Jason's a former member, and y'all have been very friendly to the club. We look forward to seeing you at the 66th Annual St. Francis County Rotary Club Shootout.
Thanks, Jerry.
Thank you, guys.
A
great time. Jerry Weems with the St. Francis County Rotary Club joining us now on the Parkland Podcast. Southeast Missouri Mental Health Services. They've been providing the mental health services to our area since 1903. And they are currently looking for an advanced practice nurse to fill a position at the East Southeast region, which is our area. And Mark, the benefits, the amenities, I guess, if you will, of this job look pretty good.
Great salary, about $130,000. This opening shouldn't last too much longer, so you definitely want to give Rick Capias and the folks at the Mental Health Center a call. A lot of people don't realize what a big employer they are. One of the biggest, if not the biggest in the area, with over 1,000 employees. You probably know somebody that works for Southeast Missouri Mental Health Center, and they'll tell you it's a great place to work.
So you can apply for this job and several others they have open right now by calling 573-218-6800 or go to dmh.mo.gov. That's dmh.mo.gov. The state of Missouri is an equal opportunity employer and celebrate diversity and are committed to creating an inclusive environment for all employees. Want to talk about Busenbark Flooring and Granite. They have been family-owned and operated since 1941. As long as I can remember, Busenbark Carpet has been in our area. And, Mark, if you were to survey, I guess, all the homes in St. Francis County, I would say a majority of them have something in them from Busenbarks.
Let's send a shout out to Gary and to Todd and Chad and all the folks at Busenbark for being a part of the podcast. Boy, if you like selection, if you like options, if you're not sure what you want in terms of flooring, whether it be hardwood or carpeting or vinyl, these are the folks to see. And where are you located at? It doesn't matter. If you can see this podcast, you're pretty much in Booze and Bark country.
And if you live outside of Booze and Bark carpet or Booze and Bark country, you can go to boozeandbarkflooring.com and it can be shipped to you no matter where you are. That's how good they do. Boozeandbarkflooring.com has a great deal right now. You can save up to 50% off the top colors of in-stock Core Tech flooring. Of course, Booze and Bark does countertops, trailers, and so much more.
Yeah, there's a lot to choose from, like we said, at Booze and Bark, and they're very involved in the community as well. Great to be partnering up with you on the podcast.
There's a reason why Booze and Bark has so many employees of over 10, 20, 30 years. They have that spacious showroom on Highway 67 at the Fairgrounds exit. And, of course, they take great care of their customers. 431-4100, Booze and Bark Flooring and Granite, proud sponsor of the Parkland Podcast. Let's talk Season of Hope now on the Parkland Podcast. We have joining us here at the barn today, Dawn Sander, the office manager and project coordinator for the St. Francis County Community Partnership. Hello, Dawn.
Good morning.
And we also have joining us here at the barn today, Brandon Tucker, the programs director of the St. Francis County Community Partnership. Hello, Brandon. How are you?
Good morning.
Let's talk about the St. Francis County Community Partnership. Dawn, we'll start with you. What does the St. Francis County Community Partnership do?
So I say, this is kind of my shortened version of it. We're kind of the hub where all of the resources collaborate together, come together so that we can get that information back out into the community so that the people in the community actually know how to get a hold of those resources so that they can help improve their lives.
This board that you have, your board of directors, is made up of a wide variety of people from all walks of life.
Oh, yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is. We've got everything from faith-based to government agency personnel that sit on our board.
Mm-hmm. So with the resources, with the information, how do you now then distribute that out to people?
We have our social media. We have our Facebook page. We send out regular newsletters through the mail. What else? We have our resource guides that detail all the different resources we have in St. Francis County. Am I missing anything?
Did you mention website? We have our website as
Right.
well. And on the website, we have a QR code that will take you straight to our resource guide.
And that's kind of a cool thing about the partnership. Not only do you have your programs that we're going to talk about here in just a minute, you also serve as a good resource for other groups to publicize what they do as well.
Yes, we do. And that's really how you better a community is by everybody collaborating together.
So the big event that I think a lot of people are familiar with in the area is Season of Hope. And we are right in the thick of making sure we can continue to help out the families that are touched by Season of Hope each year, right?
Yes, Season of Hope is our annual holiday fundraising charity. And every year we try to service right around 1,000 children. We try to provide them with $75 for gifts. And in providing those gifts, what we do is we raise money throughout the year, and we take that money and we turn around and we buy gift cards so that gifts can be bought for those children. And in those gift cards, we actually order those gift cards corporately from Walmart, and they are a restricted gift card, so the parents can't buy alcohol, tobacco, firearms, or lottery tickets with those. And then each child within the home that is referred to our program will get one of those.
Now, you used to go out and buy gifts. People could go out and buy gifts and donate them, but a little old thing called COVID had something to do with that.
It did. The years of COVID, it got shut down, and then it was just hard to transition back. And we've actually learned that a lot of the parents really enjoy being able to go out and buy the gifts themselves. Sure. Because if they send us a list, and if we can't find that item on that list, we don't know that child. And we aren't able to really figure out what to supplement that gift with. So we always send out a form for the parents to send back in. I can't tell you how many we get. Thank you so much. This really helped our Christmas this year. I was able to buy my child this gift. So it's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
That is great. So how can people make sure that you're able to service as many families as you want to. What are some ways that people can help financially?
Well, we're taking monetary donations. Individuals, organizations can do their own fundraisers within themselves. So they can either send those monetary donations to our office. Our mailing address is 1101 Weber Road, Suite 202 in Farmington. You can also go to our website, sfccp.org, and there's a link on there under projects where they can go in and make a donation via credit or debit card. Or if you look on our Facebook page, we've got an event set up for Season of Hope. On there is a QR code. You can just scan the QR code. It takes you directly to that donation form.
Dawn, there's a lot of different programs that help kids out throughout the course of the year. You all work hard to make sure there's not like duplicates, right?
Yes, we do. We vet each child very carefully to make sure that they're not being serviced by other Christmas charities in the area. All of the children that come to us are actually referred to us by the school systems, by Head Start, or by East Missouri Action Agency. We've got a very good process where we cross-reference all of that. We also have a system where we cross-reference them with the other charities as well.
Yeah, because I know Shop with the Cop is a big event that has a lot of people, and I know that you guys have worked together for years with that. Let's talk about some recent grant money that's come in, Brandon, to kind of help with some education. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we've been doing prevention work for the past 2 or 3 years, and we recently just transitioned to a new federal grant called the Drug-Free Communities Grant. So that's going to allow us to, on top of the providing curriculum for substance misuse to all the schools in our area. We're in all 5 schools currently, and we have facilitators that go in and work to teach the curriculum. So now with this new grant money, or the Drug-Free Communities Grant, we're going to be able to expand that and actually build community coalitions to kind of aid in fighting substance use. And then also we're going to be working with the St. Francis County Mental Health Board to build a youth coalition as well.
So do you work with the school district as a whole, or do you focus in on certain grade levels?
So the curriculum is actually offered K through 12. So a lot of times whenever we offer the curriculum to schools, a lot of times the counselors will teach it in lower grades, like K through 4th, and then we have our facilitators go in and we'll actually work with the 5th through high school typically.
All right, and I remember, the work that the DARE program did, kind of similar to that, where like they're coming in and they're just, giving a positive message, right?
Right. Yeah, I think that new face just kind of makes it a little more engaging for the kids. And this program, it's a really good program, so it's all research based, and it builds off things like positive relationships, goal setting, positive decision making, and then that's before it actually gets into the actual specific substances. So I like the way it approaches it. It gives them a little more just providing the knowledge for them so they can make good decisions themselves.
So drug prevention has been a big focus for the partnership over the last many years, but also suicide prevention is another big thing too.
Right. So yeah, we've been working with the St. Francis County Mental Health Board, Whitney Shumway, a lot on a lot of mental health initiatives, and she does great work. So yeah, we're excited to help out with that as well.
I want to ask about the annual health fair. I know we're still a ways off from it, but I know you're thinking about it. Dawn, give us some details about the big health fair the partnership does every year.
So our annual Health and Resource Expo, it'll be our 26th annual this year. Wow. And it is scheduled for Saturday, April 12th. It will be at the Mineral Area College Technology Building again this year. Last year was the first year we had transitioned it over to there. This is an amazing event. Last year we had 92 vendors at the expo, and close to 1,000 people attend the expo. So that is a great way to get resources out to our community. And we want to invite everyone to look at this as bringing your resource to this event so that we can get more information out about what you do.
Health screenings and so much more available at this.
So much more. We have the MOVAC breast cancer van that is there every year.
Had the dental bus last year.
And we've had the dental bus in the past as well. So many things. And I'm reaching out to many more to try to get more variety of health screenings that we can get for everyone this year.
Give us the details again on Season of Hope. What are the deadlines if people are putting together a fundraiser or they're wanting to help out? When and where do they need to get that to?
So we like to get the bulk of our money by about the 10th of December so that we can get all of that purchased and get that back out to the schools before they dismiss for Christmas break. However, we will take donations year round. So if you miss that December 10th deadline, don't fret. Send us the money anyway. Also, you can send that money again, St. Francis County Community Partnership, 1101 Weber Road, Suite 202 in Farmington. Or you can go to our website, sfccp.org, and click under the projects tab, and there's a link there to make a donation. Also on our Facebook page, St. Francis County Community Partnership, there is an event scheduled called Season of Hope. Under there is a QR code where you can just scan your phone to and take you directly to a donation.
This takes a lot of money. This isn't just, oh, here's a couple bucks, you're good to go, right?
This does take a lot of money. Our goal this year is to raise $100,000.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
That's going to help a lot of kids and a lot of families have a much better Christmas. And I'm sure the demand is still there too, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yes, it is.
What else do you want folks to know about the partnership, either of you, that they may not know?
We actually hold a monthly board meeting that is open to the public. It is the second Wednesday of the month at noon there at the Weber Road facility, 1101 Weber Road in Farmington. Our next one is this coming Wednesday at noon. We will not hold one in December, and we don't hold one in July, but those are monthly. So the public is always welcome to attend those. Also, if you have a resource for the community and you want to bring that to the the board meeting, that's a great way for collaboration and networking. It's a great opportunity for
to get it included into the resource guides as well.
Yeah, fantastic work. Well, appreciate you both coming in today, and keep up the good work, and here's hoping you can get to that Season of Hope goal here before the holidays.
Absolutely. Thank you both. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, we have Dawn Sander, Office Manager, Project Coordinator for the St. Francis County Community Partnership, and Brandon Tucker, the Programs Director for the St. Francis County Community Partnership, joining us here now on the Parkland Podcast. Earth Mother Health Foods, earthmotherhealthfoods.com. They're on Harrison Street in downtown Farmington, right behind the police station, 756-7852. But what makes Earth Mother Health Foods so great is the knowledge and the expertise of everybody in that building.
I was talking to Mary Lee this past Friday. She says, I only have to take one pill. And she goes, I take a whole lot of this healthy stuff that we sell here, and I only have to take one medication. And I thought, wow, that's a pretty good testimony. I want to give a shout out as well to Miss Melanie. She hooks me up with the good tea. I've got a spearmint peppermint blend. And not only does it taste delicious, it smells fantastic. When I mix it up in the morning, man, you get the smell of peppermint and spearmint that just goes throughout my house. It is wonderful. They also have some wonderful treats there that I am just addicted to. And when you go there, with every purchase, they give you one of these magazines. It's called Delicious Living. It's got recipes and ideas to cook and to cook healthy. I absolutely love everything about Earth Mother Health Foods. I could get lost in there.
Are you going to start cooking now?
No. But for people who do, yes.
Earth Mother Health Foods, earthmotherhealthfoods.com.
Am I going to click?
Stop by and see them today.
Farmington, Missouri, your destination for a perfect weekend getaway. Dine in at one of our quality restaurants or visit one of our surrounding wineries. Farmington offers a variety of parks and other recreational leisure time activities. See some sights, have some fun, and go wherever your heart takes you. Sounds like a lot of fun, so get a room and stay a while. All this and more awaits you just 60 miles south of St. Louis. Discover Farmington today.
We're going to talk about something different today, a little different. We're going to go way back. I went to a one-room school. Do you know what a one-room school is? It's a one big room, and you have a teacher, and you have children there from grades 1 all the way through the 8th grade in the same room. All the time, they're in there. One teacher teaches all those kids. It just seems like something impossible to a lot of people, but really isn't. It was a really clever way to educate, I think. And I think some of the people that I've seen that went through the one-room schools, including myself, it kind of adjusts you in a younger age to getting along with others and making, and now in the schools, a lot of times, like, kids will be first graders, they don't even talk to an eighth grader, or an eighth grader doesn't, whatever. And there were their classmates, and they helped teach the kids, because you started out with first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh grade, and eighth grade. Okay. You would have eighth graders working with first graders sometime, while the teacher, they'd take them in the back of the room, and if there was trouble, they would work with them. Well, they were sort of getting a little hint of what it was like to be a teacher themselves. So there was a double thing happening there, and it was really a clever idea. And the reason you had so many one-room schools, people didn't have transportation back then like they do, so they had to be somewhere they could walk to school. And from when I had to go to when I went to one-room school, it was a little over a mile, about a mile and a half that we walked. But most of the time we had a vehicle that would take us there. My dad, when he worked a certain shift, sometimes if we didn't have two vehicles, then my mom and I would have to walk. And we lived way back in the hills there, on the southern tip of Jefferson County and St. Genevieve County, near the Mississippi River, and back in those hills. And when we got to this one hill, when we walk up it, you could see houses and different stuff, And my mom would do this every time she'd go, "Look, kids, civilization." It was like we just arrived, And at night, we'd walk it too. At night, if they had PTA or something, we did the same thing. And they did a lot of it was an entertainment thing, but the thing I liked the most about it was the way the children and all reacted to each other. Uh-huh. It wasn't anything for you'd be outside playing and a little first grader or third grader or something would fall down. There'd be an eighth grader going picking them up and, helping them. And it was just, and it was a good way. It developed. There was a development there of socialization that I think we kept for a lifetime. I think that's why we've never been bothered by other ages, because we learned from the very beginning, what that was like. And that teacher was amazing, though. We had the first one I had was Mrs. Colfelt was her name, and she taught there 2 years. And then I went all the way through, almost completely through 6th grade, and then they did this reorganized school. And I kind of lost my thing. They worked together and became playmates on the playground as well as students inside. And we had a store there. The old country store was just down the road a little bit. And if you brought a note from your parents, you could go to the store at noon. Huh. You could go down there. That was okay. And the guy that ran it was named Uncle Frank. And he was some of the kids' Uncle Frank, but to the school he was everybody's Uncle Frank. Huh. And it was just the neatest experience. I remember I had an experience one time at that store. I went over there, and when I came out, I passed this older man. And when I got right up to the porch, there was a $20 bill laying on the porch. And I thought, oh my, that was a lot of money back there. That was like $500 or something now, And I ran in and asked Uncle Frank. I said, "Uncle Frank, look what I found on the step." And he said, "Oh, Mary Lee," he said, "that belongs to Mr. Griffith. He was just in here." And he said that was his change, whatever he'd given him. He said, "Can you run down the road and give it to him?" Huh. And I can run. So I ran down the road where he lived, and didn't get to his house. It was just a little ways, and gave it to him and then ran back. But that was a kind of a community thing. It was such a take care of each other kind of place. And we've kind of lost that, I mean, it's kind of like even people in town now don't hardly know their next door neighbor. Where there, you knew everybody and everybody's business, I guess. It was kind of one of those kind of things. But But like I said, ours was located there, not too far from the river. But I remember the one thing I think was really fun. Every fall, we'd have these hobos come through. A hobo is someone who travels from, just out. They don't really have a home. They just go from one place to another. And we had this one that came every year, and he had a real long white beard. And the kids couldn't wait for him to get there. And he'd come up the road, and boy, we'd be outside or something playing recess, and we'd get him, and then he'd start telling us stories. And he'd tell us stories of where all he'd been. So we had entertainment every year, and we couldn't wait for the next year for him to come back. And there were several others, but some of them weren't as friendly as him. But they had a trail through there from the Mississippi River through there to another area and it was kind of a trail where those hobos walked through there. But they never bothered anybody. They were just kind, and that was kind of stuff can you see that happening in here?
Not at all.
It'd be like if a homeless wandered in,
Yeah, exactly.
they'd call 400 policemen, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then it was okay. It was just kind of the way it was back then. So it wasn't all bad growing up in those years. I'm glad I was kind of at the tail end of that. But let's see where I'm at here. I told you about we had the store, the country store, and then two of my uncles. I want to tell about this. Well, all my grandma and her siblings went to that school, that same school. My dad's two brothers and sister went to it, and the education they got there started them out on a trail. Now, my dad never did climb that high in the world as they did because he was a farmer. And it's kind of hard for a farmer to, make it great big, And but he worked at Pittsburgh Plate Glass Company. I'm not complaining because everybody that owned a small farm had to. And my grandfather was a sharecropper in the river bottom, and he lived in a sharecropper's house, and that's how he started out, and with his children there, and they lived on the railroad track. And when the trains would go by, they'd all go out and wave, the kids would. And every year at Christmas, there would be a big cloth bag full of toys and things left for them by the train people. Every year that would happen. And I bet that train had a bunch of those in there, that was, because there was kids, you were seeing kids like that. But I always thought that was so neat. That was another thing that was kind of special. But I wanted to tell a little bit about their education. My two uncles went to Kansas City, and they got started with General Motors, and both of them had unbelievable jobs. My uncle Art moved to East Orange, New Jersey, and ran a big plant there, and General Motors. Okay. And my other uncle was at the General Motors in Kansas City. Then my aunt, who rode a horse, she and her sister Emma rode a horse to school every day. And they would leave the horse with the blacksmith. There was a blacksmith there in Danby, where the school was. And they would board it there. And so that horse would, stay there, and the kids would go to school. And when they would, my Aunt Emma would ride on the back. My Aunt Maud was always the boss, I guess. She was older. And she rode in the saddle. And they would be going home, and Aunt Maud would stop and let old Dan eat some weeds, and Aunt Emma would fuss at her, said, "Maud, keep him going so we can get home." She said, "Emma, if you was walking down here and there was a bowl of potato salad back down there on the road, I bet you'd want to have some of that too." So that's the way they kind of talked to each other. But Aunt Maud ended up in Clayton, and she was a legal secretary for a big law firm, and then she ended up taking care of and operating for a realtor, 5 big companies. Yeah. And she worked till she was in her 90s. Wow. Yeah, kind of like what I'm doing. But anyway, and that's interesting. And it all started out in that one-room school. Huh. All of them started out in that one room. So that shows that they weren't deprived. Yeah. Yeah, if anything, there was something they got there. And my dad did just as well in his own way, but he never got very far away from the farm. And when he worked at Pittsburgh Plate Glass Company there in Crystal City, when the engineers couldn't get they floated this glass somewhere on water or something, they called it the float, And when they couldn't fix it, they'd have to call him, and he'd have to go up there. And he said, sometime there'd be 4 or 5 engineers in there. And then they called him, he had real blue eyes, and they called him Old Blue. And they said, we call Old Blue, we're going to have to get him up here. And he'd get up there, but he was there when they put it in. So he had learned the get-go, you know. So, but there's a lot of people that went to those schools that ended up being very, you know, very well educated and very well balanced. They were ready for whatever, like them, going off to New Jersey and this, that, and the other, and still, you know, some people would scare you to death, you know. But they weren't just farm kids. They learned a lot just from each other. And I just think it was an ideal way to, you know, for them to get an education. And I don't know that we couldn't do that anymore. I mean, you know, we got too many kids, but or too many, you know, too much population, I guess. But I love all the memories of that, and that school down there at Lawrenceston. This is it right here.
There we go.
Okay, that's the school at Lawrenceston. That is still, it's 153 years old. Okay, you can, and I'll try to get some pictures of this later, and maybe we can get them on there, but I didn't get down there to get it. But anyway, they've got it set up like a school. Now, this is the one that I went to. I'll get it up here. This is the one that I went to right here. This is Danby School. It's not a very good picture. I've had some better pictures of it, but couldn't find them. But this was brick. And they tore everything down in that little settlement. The church, the school, the store, the lodge hall. We had a great big lodge hall. The Modern Woodman Lodge Hall and the Royal Neighbors of America. The Royal Neighbors of America met upstairs, and the downstairs was the Modern Woodman Hall. And that's the kids. Now look at them, that's a wad of them in it.
That is, and one teacher.
One teacher. Her name was Alberta Kofelt, and I had her through, first and second grade. And we had another one I'm kind of jumping around here, his name was Doyle Sullins. And he would, as soon as it got a little bit warm, he would come in and say, kids, everybody take your shoes and socks off. And we'd all get to go out, and we'd go outside and run around in the grass. That was one of our things we did. But it was neat, the whole thing was neat. The sports and everything, you know, I mean, it was just a really awesome way. We had a lady that lived right next door there, and she was our doctor, nurse, and sew up your clothes if you needed them, and seamstress or whatever, but you could run over there. But anyway, I'm kind of bouncing around here a little bit, but that's okay. There's a lot to bounce about. But no, I really, really, really feel blessed that I got to be educated like that. And I would like to hear maybe from some of the other people out there on their memories of the one-room school. Because it's not just, you know, it still is kind of a good way to teach kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember how many kids were in your grade?
About 5 or 6.
Okay, and was that a normal number?
Well, now see, on this group here, there was 40.
Okay.
That was a little bit heavy for one teacher. But I remember one year we had 50 some odd. Wow. And that one teacher. Man. Yeah. But see, the way they had that set up, those older kids was working and helping, and they learned from that too. See, they learned something else from that, you know, not just to be a student, you know, they learned how to be a teacher, you know.
Now, when you left that school, where did you go?
We went to Jefferson R7.
How was that transition that you remember?
It was different, let me tell you.
Yeah.
It took us a while to adjust to that, but you were still, early on, you still knew all your buddies you'd been going to school with in that one-room school. Mm-hmm. But then as time went on, you became like schools are now. You just kind of played or hung around with people in your grade. You didn't, you know, where there, you didn't have that. You know, first grader, you'd see an 8th grader carrying a first grader, you know what I mean? Something like that, you know, whatever. And that was pretty cool, you know. But yeah, it was special. I can remember and this I know would never happen in a school today, but I had to walk from, it was a cold, and I was a skinny little thing, and when I get to school I'd be so cold and sometimes, and the teacher would tell one of the 8th grade kids to take my shoes and socks off, and they would sit and hold me and rub my feet until they warmed my feet up. And then they had to keep the fire going. And in the cloakroom, we had 2 cloakrooms, one on each side of the hall when you come in, and one was the girls' cloakroom and the other was the boys. And you put your lunches and stuff in there, but then you would go back into the classroom and go get your lunch and bring it back in the classroom and eat it. But I remember this one real funny thing happened one time. We had the superintendent of the county would pay a call ever so often, a couple times a year. And everybody was like scared to death of him. Nobody ever did, but he never did do anything to me. But anyway, he would kind of scold. He'd come in and if he'd see somebody, I remember them doing this one time. Some kid must have had gum in their mouth. And he said, and you get that goo out of your mouth. He got onto it, called gum goo, But anyway, Mr. Hamrick was his name. They were all kind of petrified of him. And this one teacher we had, Doyle Sullins was his name. He was a guy. He was really young, and he was just kind of learning to be a teacher anyway. And he did a lot of kind of crazy things. But anyway, all good. He was just, and anyway, they used to do funny things for punishment. If 2 kids would get in a fight, they had these little things, and he had this kind of a long part of a tree, a little log thing, and he'd make the kids sit and hold it for so long over its head. And it wasn't too much fun sitting there, and then you were kind of embarrassed too because everybody was looking at you. Well, he put that log thing up on top of the piano. We had a piano, and the superintendent came, and that log thing was laying up there. And anyway, I remember after the superintendent left, now why I remember this, I don't know, he said, man, I hope he didn't think I was using that to beat you kids with. It was just and another thing they used to do, I remember if 2 of them would get in a fight, they would make them sit and put their arm around each other. And that was just different little tricks to make them so different than the way they're schooled today. But actually, the reason I wanted to tell what an education they got, you couldn't. I don't, it was as good as what we're doing today. Right. Exactly. Except it was all kids, all grades in one room. But anyway, well, that's kind of about it. How long did we do here?
Looks like we're at almost 20 minutes. I got one more question for
Yes.
you. What was an average? You mentioned bringing your lunch. Sometimes you got to go to the store. What was an average lunch? What was packed in a lunch for that one-room school? What'd you eat?
Well, you just had a sandwich usually and a piece of fruit of some kind if you had fruit. Or with that, back then, it would have been like canned or something. Like your mama, we always had everything canned, because we all had our own food, yeah. But yeah, you'd have, that would be your, and always cookies and that kind of goodies, and that kind of stuff. And then your party was a big deal, because we'd always have a party and, but I remember, everything I remember about attending the one-room school to me was a blessing. I really do. I feel like I was blessed to be able to do that. And I wish other kids could have shared that, But it wouldn't be strange in this world with all the population we have,
Right.
But anyway. But back then, and it made sense, because see, you couldn't be that far you had to be within walking distance. Well, think how far a kid would have to walk to come to some of these schools.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. They'd have to start out the day before, wouldn't they?
It's like an hour walk from me because I live all the way in Deloach.
Yeah, see, that would be. Yeah.
8 hours.
Yeah, it would. See, that's the difference. But I like for people to know about what life was like then, and it wasn't all bad. It was, no.
Great.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Very good. Tell us about Earth Mother Health Foods, what you do here.
Oh, I help people all day long. And I feel so blessed to do that. And that's why I keep working at the age I am, because how do you quit something where you're helping people? Yeah. And I mean, I just feel humbled sometimes by the amount of people and how much they think of me, You know what I mean? I'm not out to get everybody to be everybody's favorite person. I'm just trying to help them. But in the process, I'm just loved to pieces. You know, it's just, and it really makes me feel like I'm doing something right that God wants me to do.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel like that's what I feel like He put me. But I come from a long line of those kind of people.
Right.
Yeah, we were all kind of brought up that way. My mom's people were especially, they were part Indian, and they were really, you know, helping people all the time. I still do it, and I hope I can keep doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
So
What do you want to talk about next time?
I don't know. I was thinking about talking about, but it'll be kind of sad, but maybe okay. I want to talk about World War II.
Okay.
Because I remember World War II. I can remember when when they came and told me my uncle got killed. I remember. Yeah. See, I think it's kind of sad, but it's reality. Yes.
Right.
I think my friend Weston would love to hear about that.
Really? Yeah, but no, I remember it so vividly well.
Yeah.
It's funny, an incident like that, because I was only 4
Yeah.
4 years old. But I was born in 1940. But when the incident, I remember it happened in 44, when my uncle got killed.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad had it. Oh, I remember a lot of stuff about that. That'll be an interesting one for him because, I remember making a trip to on a train to Little Rock, Arkansas. That's where my dad went through his training, and that was an event. Let me tell you, this country was in. If they think it's bad now, wait till I tell you the next story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. I think I wanted to I kind of was in between which one to do, but I thought, no, I kind of like to do this one-room school. I don't feel like I was quite as prepared for it as I should have been, but you'll probably like listening to it anyway.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me.
Music time on the Parkland podcast, where a couple of fans of music will talk about music we like. Mark Toti, what's your song of the week?
Song of the week is one a lot of folks have never heard before. It's from a guy named Arthur Brown.
Okay.
And it's called Fire. And you would recognize this song as soon as you hear it because it starts off with Arthur Brown saying, "I am the god of hellfire."
Okay.
It is a great, great tune. Fire, take you to burn. It was a #1 hit in England and in the United States going back to 1968.
Huh.
If you want to try something new, check that song out.
Okay.
You will like it a lot. And my album of the week, I picked it because it may be the oldest album in my collection. I bought it when I was 10 years old. The Birds, the Bees, the Monkees.
Oh.
All kinds of great
I see what they
songs
did
on
there.
this, like Daydream Believer, Magnolia Sims, Zor and Zam, Valerie is on here, Dream World. Just a great, great tune. The Monkees were a big deal in the 60s. They got their own TV show.
Oh, yeah.
For like 3 or 4 years, had a bunch of #1 hits. But my music trivia, which we didn't do earlier, ties in with the Monkees. Who is the greatest guitar player of all time, probably?
Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix opened for the Monkees.
Oh, my. That's
Jimi
an odd
Hendrix
pairing.
opened for the Monkees. How big were the Monkees back in the 60s? There you go. Check out a little Monkees music there.
And then who's the bass player for the Monkees?
Well, there was Michael Nesmith.
Yes, Michael Nesmith. Did you know what his mother
His
invented?
mother invented Whiteout.
Yes. Isn't that crazy?
Mickey Dolenz is the only one left still alive.
Yes.
He played the drums. Davy Jones sang on Daydream Believer.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Peter Tork. He was just like the token come along for the ride monkey.
Poor old Peter Tork.
Poor old Peter Tork. There you go. Those are my music picks.
Okay, so for my song of the week, it's actually got a local tie. I'm going to give you 3 Little Pigs from the comedy rock band Green Jelly. You might not recognize the title, but you recognize the main part where he goes, little pig, let me in.
Oh, yeah.
Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. I played that for my son once, and it blew his mind. So anyways, the reason why I bring this song up is because I have a friend, Mr. John Hewitt at Farmington High School, who on the weekends takes cyclists up the trail at Pilot Knob at the new place that I guess probably been there for a couple years now. But anyways, that new trail, and he drives them up there, and he meets a lot of interesting people. Recently, the guitar player for Green Jelly was in town, and he did the trail. So he probably ate at Bailey Joe's and got his prescription filled at Parkland Pharmacy, and did everything that people
all the cool. Then got some money out of First State Community Bank.
Yeah. Did all that stuff that cool Ironton people do. So I wanted to bring up that song because if you were a fan of rock and roll music in the early to mid '90s, and that song came out in '92, you remember that one really well, and the really stupid stop motion video that went along with it as well. And then for album of the week, Mark Toti hooking me up again with this great one from April Wine.
Yeah.
This is harder, faster. Oh my, these guys were rocking the capes and the prog rock back in the day. They're from the area, right? April Wine?
No, they're Canadian.
They're Canadian. Okay, but they had a really good
They had a good
following,
local
Loki.
following, yes.
They really fit in well with the rest of the local scene. I Like to Rock is
I
think
Like
the
to
coolest
Rock.
tune from this album.
Some like it hot, baby.
I saw them with Head East.
Good.
And it was like a hodgepodge. Loverboy, I think, was there, and it was like a hodgepodge. And I remember we got these tickets like last minute, and we're like, yeah, we'll go see these guys.
Great
And
show.
Yeah. They went into I Like to Rock, and I was like, hey, I like to rock. And
Best
so,
Head East song?
Save my life, I'm going down for the last time.
Never Been Any Reason. Great tune. They're a local band.
And the high-pitched lead singer of that band went on to have like a really good career in Christian rock, became the lead singer of the band Petra.
Yeah, I've got a Petra album at home.
I do too. I saw him at Six Flags back when I was in high school.
Never did that.
So there you go. Though that is your music segment here on the Parkland podcast. Who do we have coming up for episode 24?
We're going to preview the Help the Hungry bake sale and auction. And I guess we might as well break it to folks right now. The next show after that is actually going to be from the Help the Hungry bake sale and auction itself. So we're going to, in case you can't make it, or maybe you want to see yourself on the podcast.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
We're going to be interviewing some folks that are there, and we're also going to have crowd shots. So you might see yourself.
You might see yourself.
Not on the next Parkland podcast, but on the one after that.
Episode 25.
Yeah, Chris is going to be in to tell us more about that next week.
And we'll also talk to Jason Carr, as he's the director at the Mineral Area Fine Arts Academy. Feed me, Seymour! They're doing Little Shop
Feed
of
me.
Horrors coming up, so we'll tell you how to get tickets and check all that out. Have a great week. Again, happy Veterans Day. Thank you so much for your service, and we'll see you next week.